to this episode of The Good, the Bad and the Odd with your hosts, Mark and Sam. Hi, Sam.
Hello there.
Right, so we're back in the world of Hammer, and we're already back to Dracula. We haven't had enough. Now, I think the reason they made these back-to-back is the idea was that Taste the Blood of Dracula didn't really have Dracula in, and this one would, but it turned out that it had both in the end, so that kind of explains this one. This one was directed by Roy Ward Baker, who did go on to direct some really quite good other Hammer movies. For example, I know you're not a big fan of it, but Quatermass in the Pit is widely regarded as one of the best Hammer movies, but he went on to direct ones that we will be enjoying soon, which is things like The Vampire Lovers, Dr. Jekyll and Sister Hyde, which is better than it sounds, trust me. And also the quite unbelievably good Legend of the Seven Golden Vampires, which I think he co-directed because it was kind of a British Hong Kong co-production, and he did the English-speaking bits, and Hong Kong did all the action bits, which seems fine to me. But he also made quite a lot of like Amicus, those portmanteau films too, and he's pretty good. This film doesn't quite show you how good he is, actually.
No, it's
pretty mundane, isn't it, in terms of direction? But he was famous for other films, non-horror films. I think his highest rated film was a film about the sinking of the Titanic called A Night to Remember, which is a kind of a classic British drama movie. And also almost everyone in the industry was in it. It's one of those kind of films. So British film industry, that is. It was kind of that. And again, Christopher Lee's back. Christopher Lee's back as Dracula. And this was considered by Hammer as kind of a reboot because it didn't continue the series in terms of each film led to the next. Do you know what I mean? Whereas this one kind of didn't.
Sort of like, I can see this kind of doing like an Evil Dead 2 thing where it's like, okay, bits of it made it through.
Yeah. It's kind of if it's a sequel of any of them.
It's the weird powdered blood of Dracula.
Yeah. And I mean, skeletons in Dracula's castle all powdered. It could be a direct sequel to the first one, if anything, right? That's the only one that kind of makes sense. Now, this stars a few people. The most obvious one that we know is probably Patrick Troughton, right?
Yeah, Patrick Troughton is Clove.
Clove. Now, that's interesting because Clove was a character in Dracula, Prince of Darkness, but a different actor, different style and everything. But I don't know if it was intended to be the same person. I don't know.
I doubt it.
And the other ones, Michael Gwynn's in it, who plays the sort of slightly weak-kneed priest. He was in the Revenge of Frankenstein, I think. And he's been in a few other things in British TV. He's quite famous. He's probably famous for being Lord Melbury in 40 Towers, one episode of 40 Towers, a con man who passes himself off as a lord who really annoys Basil, which is great. And also we get...
the priest was also in Jason and the Argonauts.
That's right, he was
one of the gods.
One of the gods,
Hermes.
Wasn't he? Okay, he was Hermes, yeah. And there's been a few other things as well. We also get Dennis Waterman here, very, very young Dennis Waterman, probably better known in British TV from the sort of 70s and 80s. He was in Minder and The Sweeney. And we also get Jenny Hanley, who's quite beautiful in this, who went on to present Magpie, a children's, like the ITV version of Blue Peter. She was presenting that. She was quite good. And another actress called Anushka Hempel, which, despite her very exotic sounding name, she's from New Zealand. And she was one of those actresses that didn't appear in much, was more famous for being her, like in panel shows and chat shows and things like that. She was one of those kind of actresses. But she's in this as well. Weirdly, with black hair or very dark hair, but she's usually a blonde, so it's kind of weird to see her like that. So we get Dracula, and it's a bit of a different vibe, this film. I
think it was distinctly different from the terrible Bat model.
Oh God, that Bat on a String was awful.
Yeah.
I mean, Universal did better, didn't they?
Yeah, literally the original like Universal plastic like rubber bat on a piece of string looked better than this.
Oh man, that was, and it's funny because Dracula is like basically he's dust. Is he a skeleton as well, or is he just
no,
dust?
he's just dust.
Just dust.
And the bat shows up and starts bleeding all over.
Well, it starts vomiting blood all over him, which is lovely.
That's what it says on the Wikipedia. But like, it just starts bleeding. It's just sort of like a puppet head, and blood starts spraying everywhere.
Yeah, it's almost comedy. You know, it's almost like watching a Mel Brooks film.
Dracula slowly forms out of the powder and blood.
Yeah, and pretty much straight afterwards, we see a young girl's been killed, and the villagers are really pissed off at this time. They can't take it. And interesting, Michael Ripper's in this in quite a big part as the very, very angry innkeeper, basically.
Yeah, he's not taking any, like, oh no, we're not doing any sympathetic running off to save your lost brother or any bullshit. You stay in this town, you stay inside, and you do not draw his attention to us.
Yes. Yeah, anyway, we get one thing I did like about it is we get a proper torch-wielding, pitchfork-wielding mob in this one, don't we?
But straight away. Like, they're immediately like, oh, Dracula's back. Okay, let's do this.
Let's go do this. And they clove, they kind of, they don't quite beat him up, but they kind of, they're off, you know, they basically breast the door in and start burning the castle down. So, because they are proper enraged, but they decide that all the women are safe in the church.
Yeah,
let's put it that
put them
way.
all together.
Yeah.
And they come back and a bat flies out the door and they open it. And
yeah,
all the women have been slaughtered.
I mean, it's proper bloody. Men, women,
Yeah.
everything. Kids, everyone's been... And it's all bloody and ripped up. Quite strong stuff, really, for Hammer. But Dracula was asleep in one of the towers anyway, so he didn't really care. But somehow this flock of vampire bats went and attacked and killed all these people, right?
Yeah. So silly.
Meanwhile, we get a party going on, which is Simon.
Oh yeah, we cut away to our designated Dracula's not in the movie for about 40 minutes.
Yeah.
Section.
So it's Sarah and I still can't quite work out their relationship.
It's Sarah, Simon, and Paul. Paul is like the womanizer one.
Yeah.
Simon is interested in Sarah. Sarah is interested in Paul.
And Simon keeps trying. He gives her a ring, and she puts it on. And she goes, "I was hoping you put it on the other finger, meaning
wedding
engagement." But no, she's really not interested in him.
No, she's like
she's
Paul
really
keeps
not.
demonstrably showing himself to be a terrible person.
Yeah,
and like she keeps just going, "Oh, but Paul, it's like, come on, lady."
Yeah, I guess it's the sexy one. That's what it is. The thing is, they could have
They both look like the most milquetoast guys I've ever seen.
They are a bit bland. Paul. They should have. I don't want to be mean, but they should have they should have cast a more charismatic and better looking actor in this role. It would have made more sense. Because honestly, Simon looks better, and he's fairly played as well. That was weird, right? We see, where could he be? Something's held him up and he's in bed with a woman and she's going, was that the best ever? And he's going, oh. And then the clock starts tolling and she's trying to talk to him and saying, well, am I the best for you and all this? And he's going, 7. He goes, no, why didn't you tell me it was 9 and all this? And then he rushes downstairs and she, bare-assed, chases him.
Yeah, chases him down. The Burgermeister runs in, who's her dad.
It was a comedy actor called Bob Todd who worked a lot with Benny Hill, right? So that was weird. But he played this angry Burgermeister while his daughter, who's standing there starkers.
With like basically a sheet pulled up
over her front, but back nothing.
Yeah. Of course, she spends most of her time with her back to the camera.
Of course, yes. So
but she just basically points at him and goes, "You raped me."
Yeah, it's like, my God.
Well, you're delivering this with a lot of levity.
Yeah, she's smirking and laughing at her angry father, laughing at being angry at the rapist.
He chases the guy out, he immediately turns around and is like, I know what you've been up to.
That's true. That's true.
Yeah.
And Paul has to leave town quick, right? He does go to the party, and he gives Sarah a photograph he took, but the glass is a bit smashed, a bit cracked, isn't it? And all this. And anyway, the Burgermeister's men turn up searching for him, and he just climbs out the window, gets into a coach, and kind of runs off. That's kind of it, right? But then he breaks through a border, doesn't he? And they shoot guns after him. He somehow falls off the coach, doesn't he?
Yeah.
And he finds an inn, and this girl won't kind of let him in. She's like, I'm new around here, and I've been told not to let anyone in. And he kind of starts
He starts trying to put the moves on her.
Put the moves on her, and she's going, I'm not having any of this. And then immediately kisses him. It's very James Bond. It reminded me of James Bond. It's that kind of, oh yeah, okay, all right, yeah, let's go. But then the Ripper turns up. Michael Ripper turns up, and he's super angry and just kicks him out. I don't care where you can go to hell as far as I'm concerned. It was that sort of lines.
Yeah, he boots him out, and so I'm struggling to remember because of how very generic this middle bit was.
Yeah.
He ends up in Clove's carriage, who takes him up to Castle Dracula.
Yeah, so Clove's a funny looking fellow. He's got massive eyebrows and like mad hair. And he's quite short in this. He looks quite short in this, doesn't he? I mean, guess against Christopher Lee, you are going to look short, but even so. Oh yeah, and I should say this is this. I think I made it clear. This is the same innkeeper that led the charge against Dracula's castle, and it's still going on. He doesn't want to be involved anymore because it didn't work because everyone died. Basically. Yeah. So Paul ends up at Dracula's castle, but then there's a girl there called Tanya who says, it's kind she's being trapped by Dracula, which is a reprise of the original horror Dracula. The woman vampire in that said the same thing, didn't she?
Yeah.
But then Paul ends up in bed with Tanya.
Yeah, of course. And she also immediately tries to put the bite on him, and then Dracula shows up and shanks her to death.
Yeah, he pulls out this massive knife and just stabs her over and over. It's kind of brutal. Paul tries to stop him, but like one swipe is out of it.
Just knocks him across the room.
Because he's Dracula, right?
Yeah.
But then once he's stabbed her to death, he starts like licking his lips, and basically it's intimating he's going to go and drink some of the blood off of her or something. And then he goes off, and the next thing
comes in and drags off the body. And
no, he doesn't. It's worse than that. He gets out a cleaver. And
starts chopping her up.
Chopping her up. You don't see. It's not graphic, but it's like it's obvious what's going on. Meanwhile, Paul tries to escape. We've tied together.
He tries to rope down to a room, which has three completely plain walls and one wall with a window, and it's got Dracula's coffin inside.
Yeah.
I feel like you want them a bit more accessible.
Yes, he kind of... Well, no, the point is Dracula sleeps where he can't be got to. I mean, Paul got to him, but the idea is he always sleeps somewhere that people can't approach. So he likes that. And that's in the book. He climbs up and down the wall like a big lizard in the book.
I do forget how much of a freak Dracula is in the
book.
Yeah. Like, he's
an old bloke.
No one likes
he's an
this guy.
Old bloke who gets younger as he goes.
It's weird how Nosferatu was the thing to put the really swarthy angle on Dracula. Because he was a freak.
Yeah. Definitely. In terms of look and feel, the probably Gary Oldman one is the closest to the book, I think, in terms of him being an old bloke who gets younger as the story goes. Meanwhile, Simon and Sarah.
Yeah, Simon and Sarah just sort of wandering around in the wilderness looking for him.
No explanation other than
they're just doing stuff.
And the same maid who kind of. Paul tried to sort of make
to put the moves on. Basically directs them to... There's a bit of back and forth where they're like kind of squaring off with the Ripper, and it's not working at all.
The Ripper does not care.
Yeah, sounds like, I think you know something.
And also...
Like, get out.
And also, before that, two of the Burgermeister's men turn up looking for him, and the girl tells them to go to the castle. We don't see them again, right? They just disappear.
I just kind of assumed they got eaten.
Yeah, but we don't get any... It's kind of pointless because it never gets revealed. Anyway. It might be. It was.
A cut bit probably.
Yeah. Now Clove happens to find the picture of Sarah left by Paul in his room, and he immediately falls in love with her just from the picture. Mind you, if he's stuck in there with old Dracula, you can't really blame him. Anyway, they turn up, and Clove realises it, and Dracula wants to put the bites on Jenny Hanley. Now, I have to say, though the men are pretty milquetoast, the women are particularly beautiful in this one, right? And,
it's a lot of big hair, low cut dresses, frilly collars sort of thing. Yeah,
but they're striking looking women, both of them, aren't they? So that's cool. That's a very good Hammer thing. Yeah. Anyway, he wants to put the bite on her, but she's got a crucifix, and Dracula says to Clove, "Get rid of it," and he won't. He refuses. So we see the effects of this.
Does he slap around Clove a bit at this point?
He slaps Clove. Oh yeah. He slaps Clove around all the time. And weirdly, I remembered him whipping Clove, but that wasn't true.
No, he gets a sword and heats it in the fire and puts it on his back.
Now, the first time I saw this film, I thought that sword was going to come into the end. In fact, it doesn't. But
no.
It's only used to torture Clove by heating it in a fire.
Yeah, can you imagine how much cooler the end of this film would be if there was a sword fight with burning swords?
Yeah, that would have been good.
Some proper metal album cover.
Yeah,
imagery.
But also the barmaid decides to leave in the middle of the night, even though we see the Ripper say, "No, I've got to tell you the truth." And then the next thing, we see her wandering around in the countryside.
I think she was into it.
Yeah.
I'm not gonna lie. She was like, ooh.
And basically, Clove gets hold of her and takes her to Dracula. And Dracula, he's saying, "Have I done well, Master?" And he said, "Yes, you are forgiven." All this kind of stuff. Right?
Yeah. It is kind of funny how pathetic Patrick Troughton is as Clove.
Yeah. So Simon, they come across the village priest who says no one comes to the church anymore because of what happened there. I'm not really surprised.
Yeah. You wouldn't.
No. And he asks if Sarah can wait there while he goes and look back to look for Paul. They get out of the house first. Yeah, because Clove
they escape for a bit.
But then he decides to go back, and the priest says, "Oh yeah, she can stay with me." All right. So Simon goes back. But then he gets hold of Clove and starts threatening him. And Clove says, "I'll show you where he is," and he shows him. But when he goes down the, and he also, I should have mentioned, they know that Paul was there because they find Clove had the picture of Sarah.
Yeah, he had the picture.
Yeah. Because Paul wanted it back to get the crack fixed. That was or something.
Yeah.
So he shows him, and he ends up going down to the room where Dracula is. But the priest's kind of giving him the,
he's giving him advice on how to kill a vampire.
Yeah. So he
he's come down with a chair leg.
Yeah. And when he tries to do it, there's this weird special effect where Christopher Lee's eyelids go red. And
they like you can see his glowing eyes underneath his eyelids.
Yeah, is that what it's meant to be?
It just kind of looks weird.
I couldn't work it out.
Because you can still see his eyes closed, but it's like they're sort of superimposed over.
Yeah, it wasn't great. And it basically, he passes out, doesn't he? He just passes out when that happens. And then what happens next? Basically, they end up on the ramparts, don't they? And he wants the girl, and Clove gets enraged and tries to stab Dracula with the knife. Doesn't he? You kind of, and the Dracula just throws him off the side of the castle, which is quite 1,000 foot up or something.
It's quite tall.
Yeah, so that's Clove over with.
Yeah, that's that.
So then what happens then? They start fighting.
Simon pulls this weird metal rod that was on the side of the building off, and then chucks it like a spear.
Yeah, it goes into Dracula's chest, but he just pulls it out again. I think it's a lightning rod. I assume it's a lightning rod.
He pulls it out, sort of lifts it up in the air and starts laughing at them. Yeah. And then lightning strikes it. So.
And sets him alight, and he burns up. And we have a proper effect of a man on fire wandering around, which is kind of cool. And then he dies. And so it's like, okay, that was a bit easy, wasn't it? Oh no, he falls off the side of the castle, but we see his burning body as it falls, right?
Yeah.
So and it carries on fire, and then it ends. That's it. At least it's a crash ending. I quite appreciate that. So yeah, okay.
It's an interesting one.
Yeah. Where would you put it? Where would you put it in the list?
I'm not gonna lie, I put it quite low because it felt like no one had any agency in this movie.
No, and like Dracula went out way too easy.
Happened.
Yeah.
Dracula went out like a punk. Like, it's just kind of strange. Like, it feels so formulaic, and I think it may be one of the worst because of that. But I just don't know.
Now, I always thought this was the worst one, but so far in all the watches, I actually like this a little more than I remembered it being. I like it more than Dracula Prince of Darkness, for example, which I find really boring in the middle.
Yeah.
God, it's boring. But apart from Father Sandor, he's quite cool. But the actual nemesis of Dracula are not good in this.
It's such wishy-washy nothings.
Nothings. That's right. If I remember rightly, we get Van Helsing back from this point.
Thank God.
Yes, he's back. But I say that we're off to the 70s. No,
the 70s.
Yes.
Okay.
The next one is Dracula AD 1972.
Okay.
Yes. So, and it was made in 1972. So, and we got a couple of them, and then the Legend of the Golden Vampire, Seven Golden Vampires, goes back to Victorian times. Weirdly, it's sort of so it's not a sequel of those modern ones. It's like a side core or something. So it was okay. I found it more entertaining than I remembered it being. I remember it being really boring, and it wasn't. It was fine.
Yeah, it had its moments. Like, I think I did quite enjoy the bit where the bat killed everyone in a church.
It was weird. I don't think they had enough Kensington gore, though, because it looked a bit orangey. I think they had to water it down because there was so much of it splashed about.
Yeah.
Or they had to, because they did so much, they probably took all day decorating it all, and the blood dried a bit and it went orangey or something. I don't really know. But it was proper brutal, the way they looked. So Dracula's burnt up this time, so there you go.
Yeah, he's crispy rather than juicy.
Yeah,
I guess.
Yeah, I like Christopher Lee in this. It was kind of fun. It was kind of a lot of fun. The weird comedy.
It's weird how he has more charisma than pretty much everyone else in the film except the Ripper.
The Ripper's
why have we taken to calling him the Ripper?
Oh, I always called him the Ripper. He's classed. Michael Ripper is fantastic. He's probably in as many Hammer films as Christopher Lee or Peter Cushing.
Oh, I'd say more.
Probably more,
because he seems to have consistently been in every one we've watched.
Yeah.
So,
well, he hasn't been in every one, but he's been in a lot. That's for sure. I mean, the mainstays of Hammer are, Peter Cushing.
Peter Cushing, Christopher Lee, and Ripper, really.
The Ripper. Terence Fisher, the director. Yeah. James Bernard, the composer, who did score this. Pretty good score. Say again?
Michael Ripper was in a Centrinians film?
Oh, yeah, he's a comedy actor in the main, funny enough. He doesn't do it in Hammer, but he is a comedy actor. But I actually say I like the score in this too. It reminded me somewhat of the score of Devil Rides Out, but it was pretty solid. So not bad. Okay, so you put it on the low side. I have to say it's not a touch on like Brides of Dracula or Horror Dracula.
Brides of the Dracula, I think, may still be my favourite Hammer film.
Yeah. It's my favourite Dracula for sure. And I think probably I like Taste the Blood of Dracula and Dracula's Game a little more than this. But I quite like this, actually. It was all right. And I don't think there is a bad one left. I think the others are, in their own way, I think one of them may even go in our Good, Bad and Odd Hall of Fame. But we'll see when we watch it, right? We'll see. I might be misremembering it. Okay, let's. What would you rate it?
Oh, I'd put this at like probably a 5 or 4.
Okay.
Like, this is boring.
Yeah. I'll give it a 6. Which is higher than I used to rate it. I would have given it a 5 in the past, for sure. But I actually enjoyed it a fair bit, and it was punchy and got on with business, so I was fine with it. All right, then, let's wind it up there. Any final thoughts?
No, not really.
Okay, it was nice to see. This suffered from bad nemesis. The male leads were bad. The women were good. I think the women almost all throughout were good. I quite like Patrick Troughton as Clove as well. And Michael and the Ripper was pretty great.
Yeah.
So those were like the pluses for me. I have to say also the set design was really good, like it almost always is with Hammer as well. So it was fun. They just needed to. They definitely needed to cast a different actor for Paul. I would have said it just didn't suit.
They needed to cast someone swarthy as opposed to this guy. Who didn't look like anything really. I don't know. Ripper would have worked better for me, frankly. Or Patrick Troughton or something. I don't know. The actual actors. I know they're kind of older men at this point, but like something.
They got something.
Just get someone with some
charisma,
some pizzazz.
Yeah.
Like something for Dracula to be stoic against.
Yeah.
Like part of what makes Van Helsing so great is he has his own sort of downplayed theatrics. Like him, he did not need to in Brides of Dracula just like beer slide down a table to pin a vampire into a wall and then sort of slowly walk around the room undoing his gloves. That's awesome. None of these guys would pull that off.
No, they would never know. That's the other thing is like serious. I mean, the only way that bloke played Dracula is because lightning struck. Right? There's no way in a fight.
Yeah, acts of God don't count as a win.
Yeah. That's right. Yeah. You have to actually do something.
Unless you do it awesome, like in not Taste the Blood of Dracula, well before that, where he falls back onto the cross and then it gets struck by lightning.
Yeah, that was cool.
Like, that's pretty cool.
Yeah, that's cool. Okay, let's wind up there then. So I think next time we've got a comfy chair plan, but we'll see. Anyway, so bye from me.
Bye.